Picture this. You're sitting across from your boss in a performance review. He slides a paper across the desk. It's your raise. 2%. You were expecting 5. You were counting on it, honestly. You've been working late, covering for other people, delivering every deadline. And this is what they came back with. Here's the real question. What do you do? If you have $0 in savings right now, you already know the answer. You smile, you say thank you for considering me, you walk back to your desk, you're furious on the inside, and then you do absolutely nothing. Because you cannot afford to do anything. The rent is due. The credit card balance is sitting at $6,000. You need this job. Probably more than it needs you. Now imagine the exact same meeting. Same boss, same lowball offer on the table. But this time, you've got $5,000 sitting in a savings account. Enough to cover most of your expenses for 2 months while you figure out your next move. Do you think you respond differently? You do. And today I'm going to show you exactly why and exactly how to get there.
My name is Joey, and on this channel, I want to teach you how to save, invest, use, and grow your money so you can have more freedom and retire earlier without depending on the government. Subscribe to the channel and like this video. Here's a number that should make you uncomfortable. The average American has less than $400 in savings they could access for a real emergency. Not $4,000, not $40,000, $400. That's less than one car repair, less than one emergency room visit, less than 1 month of minimum payments if the income stopped tomorrow. And we wonder why people are stressed. We wonder why they can't negotiate at work. We wonder why they make impulsive financial decisions. Here's what nobody actually tells you. Having no financial buffer doesn't just hurt your bank account. It fundamentally changes how you think, how you act, and how other people treat you. When you have nothing saved, every conversation becomes a negotiation you cannot afford to lose. Your landlord knows it, your employer knows it, the car dealership definitely knows it. And whether you're aware of it or not, you're operating from a position of total financial desperation. And desperation is visible. Think about how it shows up in real life. You take the first job offer because you need the paycheck now. You don't push back on the mediocre raise because you can't afford to walk out. You stay in the bad apartment because moving costs money you don't have. You don't negotiate the car price because the dealer can smell that you need to drive off the lot today. Every one of those decisions has a dollar cost, and every one of those costs compounds over years. That's what zero savings actually costs you, not just in interest rates, but in your entire financial trajectory.
The problem isn't just that you're broke. It's that being broke forces you to make decisions that keep you broke. And until you build that first buffer, the trap doesn't break. Let's put real numbers on this. The average unexpected expense in America runs about $1,400. We're talking car repairs, medical copays, broken appliances, a last-minute flight for a family emergency. For someone with no savings, that $1,400 goes straight onto a credit card. The average credit card interest rate in the US right now is hovering above 21%. If you carry that balance and make minimum payments for 12 months, you end up paying around $1,600 total. You paid $200 extra for the privilege of being financially unprepared.
Now, multiply that by reality. Federal Reserve data shows about 40% of Americans experience a significant financial shock in any given year. Job disruption, medical event, major repair. Over 10 years, that's potentially 4 to 6 hits. At $200 in unnecessary interest per event, you've quietly handed away $800 to $1,200 in what I call the desperation tax. Money gone. Not from bad investing, not from laziness, from having no buffer. But here's the part that hits harder than the interest math: the negotiation cost. Research on wage negotiation consistently shows that people who push back on the first offer earn $5,000 to $10,000 more per year than those who accept the default. The number one predictor of whether someone negotiates? Their perceived alternatives. In other words, whether they feel like they can afford to walk away. With $0,
Now, here's the math on actually getting to $5,000. It's not as out of reach as it feels when you're looking at zero. At $500 a month saved, 10 months. At $300 a month, 17 months. At $200 a month, 25 months. And while it's sitting there, a high-yield savings account at 4.5% APY earns you $225 per year on that $5,000. Not retirement money, but you're getting paid to hold your own safety net. That changes the emotional calculus too. The math isn't the hard part here. The mindset is. Researchers Sendil Mullainathan and Eldar Shafir spent years studying what financial scarcity actually does to the brain. Their conclusion was stark. When people don't have enough of something, money, time, food, their cognitive bandwidth literally narrows. They make worse decisions. They're more impulsive. They focus on the immediate problem and lose sight of the bigger picture. They become, in a very measurable sense, worse at managing money.
In plain English, being broke makes you worse at not being broke. It's a trap that feeds itself. And the reverse is also documented. When you introduce even a small financial buffer, what researchers call financial slack, decision quality improves, patience increases, risk assessment gets better. You start thinking in years instead of weeks. $5,000 is not life-changing wealth, but $5,000 is enough slack to escape the cognitive trap of financial scarcity. It's the bridge between reactive and proactive. Now, you might be thinking, shouldn't I be investing that $5,000 instead of leaving it in savings? And I understand the instinct. The math on compound interest is compelling, and I talk about it all the time on this channel. But here's the problem with that logic. If you're investing $300 a month, but you have zero emergency savings, you are one car repair away from selling those investments at a loss to pay a bill. And the behavioral research on this is clear. People who invest before they have an emergency fund sell during downturns at much higher rates. Your investments are only as powerful as your ability to leave them alone. The emergency fund isn't the enemy of investing. It's what makes investing survivable. Get to $5,000 first, then invest. Here's the exact plan to get there. Step 1. Open a high-yield savings account if you don't have one already. Not your bank's default savings account earning 0.01%. An actual HYSA. Ally, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, or SoFi are all paying around 4 to 5% APY right now. Separate account, separate institution if possible. Out of sight, harder to touch. Step 2. Set the target at exactly $5,000. Not, I want to save more, not, I'll build up a little cushion. $5,000, specifically. Goal-setting research is consistent. A specific number tied to a real outcome, $5,000 by March, enough to walk out of a bad situation, drives behavior in a way that vague intentions never do. Step 3. Pause or reduce non-essential investing until you hit it. I know how that sounds from a compound interest channel, but hear me out. If you have no buffer right now, redirecting your excess savings toward the 5K goal for 10 to 17 months is not a sacrifice. It's removing the thing that could blow up your investments. The expected cost of a financial emergency hitting while you're unprotected is higher than the expected return you're giving up in a short time window. Step 4. Automate on payday. Not at the end of the month after you've already made spending decisions. The moment your paycheck lands, 200, 300, 500, whatever the number is, an automatic transfer goes to the HYSA. What you don't see in your checking account, you don't spend. This one mechanic alone is responsible for more emergency funds being built than any amount of willpower. And then watch what happens, not just to your bank balance, but to your posture, the conversations you're willing to have, the patience you develop for the right opportunity, the quiet confidence of knowing that if today goes sideways, you have next month covered. That's the real return on $5,000. The freedom number isn't a retirement target. It's not the FIRE number. It's not even close to financial independence. But it is the first number that fundamentally changes your relationship with money, with work, and with risk. $5,000 is the point where you stop making decisions out of fear. And that shift is worth far more than the interest rate on any account.
Subscribe to the channel if you want more math like this, the numbers behind the decisions most people don't think to calculate. And drop a comment below. What's your current emergency fund situation? 0, 500, fully funded? I want to see where everyone's at right now. Every comment gets read.